sharing. And we are, okay, we are live. Well, hello, hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Glenda Barrington, and I am so excited to be here today. For many women, being in debt can feel like being in a bad relationship. The kind of relationship that just tears them down, stresses them out, and basically makes them feel like crap. Well, I help women break up with their debt and kick it to the curb. However, to reach this level of financial wellness, it takes more than just paying off the bills. The state of someone's finances can impact other areas of their life. And if a person is struggling in other areas of their life, it can have a negative impact on their finances. After all, it's all intertwined. And that's why I brought together a group of experts in financial literacy, mindset, self care, and self confidence to create the Essentials of Financial Wellness giveaway. It's a bundle of free tools, training, and more to support women in their life's journey. Over the next 3 days, well, until Friday, I'll be chatting with some of the awesome women who've contributed to the giveaway bundle, and you'll get to learn a little bit about them and their free gift. Today, I'm joined by Tracy Blehm, and Tracy is a business success coach, and I love this part. She's actually a self proclaimed comedian, also. So, hi, Tracy. I'm so happy that you were able to come here and be with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Glenda. I'm very excited to be here and to share with everyone that's watching as well.
That's awesome. So, Tracy, the first thing I need to ask is what is a self proclaimed comedian? Like, does this mean that you laugh at your own jokes or?
Pretty much, yes. Sometimes I'm the only one laughing at my jokes is probably a more accurate description, but I am very well known for saying really stupid things or inappropriate things in like very tricky, awkward situations. So, when I first left my architecture and design career and I moved into holistic therapy and what have you before I opened my clinic, people in the hallway used to complain that they could hear me laughing so loud that they would like put me in the very back room and they'd put like a dead room and then they'd start the other clients because I'd be busy killing myself laughing and the people in the room would be crying and I'd be like, this is hilarious. Let's look at it this way. And we would just keep going. And it's the same when I'm working with women entrepreneurs. They feel so broken. And I'm like, well, you could always do this, this, or this, or, sell your body on the corner for a few $100 if it comes down to it, right? And then I'm laughing because I think that's hilarious. Like, I signed up for this. Like, this is, yeah, if you're not having fun, like I do believe in doing the work and being focused and making impact, but if you're not having fun, like, why get out of bed? So,
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, what's life without laughter, right? It
yes.
isn't much. No, that's great. I love it. And you know what? I think being able to laugh at yourself says a lot about your character. Being from Newfoundland, hey, I'm used to used to being able to take a good joke and to laugh at myself. So yeah, it's all good. I love it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you serve others as a business success coach.
Thank you. I love, love, love helping women entrepreneurs take their businesses and create signature programs so that that's their only focus. That's all they have to focus on to make their wealth. So that instead of trying to figure out what works, figure out how to serve, how to impact, what they could offer, oh, that's a good idea, that's a good idea, that's a good idea. So they're always creating something new. Then they got to create the automation, then they got to put it on the website, then they got to market it. Instead, I always refer to it as the Orville Redenbacher, right? Orville Redenbacher made millions selling popcorn kernels. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be done with one well laid out, properly researched signature system. So that's what I do. People come in, I teach them how to do the research in an easy, mind-blowing way. We build out their signature program, we build out how to price it, we get the automation in place, we talk about how to sign on clients, and then if they get that done quick enough, then we actually start into their marketing.
Oh,
that
wow.
they can get out there. But it's also, I'm the second set of eyes and heart. Like that's the biggest thing I find missing in a lot of coaching programs is they tell you to go do it, but nobody ever reviews it. Right. So I always do the review in between where it's like, okay, send me your Facebook post, send me your landing page, send me this, send me this. And I'll look at it. It's kind of like teacher, like, okay, I red line it up and go, let's use this word or let's soften. Or like, even for example, I have this fabulous lady that's creating this program on how to transition with ease. And it's for people that are in hospice. And I role modeled for her how to have that conversation with a loved one who is choosing to bring on her service package. And I said, do you see how it's softened? Do you see how we're looking through this lens? And she's taken notes. She's like, I can't believe you do this for people. And it's because just telling us to do it without the feedback, not approval, feedback, makes us feel even more confident in our system and what we're offering. And so that when we go out there so confidently to take on the world and build our empire.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, that's so very important. And I love what you said, approval versus feedback. Because I mean, even even it doesn't matter where you are as an entrepreneur, whether you're just starting out or if you're up here. Sometimes it can be pretty stressful when you're trying to put together something new, and if you have someone who's there and you're trying to do it their way to make sure that everything's good for them, uh, and that kind of takes you out of the equation, right? You remove yourself from the equation. And I love that you do um do you do
You do. Yeah.
you do the review.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it, like you said, if someone is telling you to do something, well, hey, that's great. But if you aren't doing it in a way that's right from the beginning, well, that's going to just throw everything off. And look at how much work and everything could just like go to pot because of one little tweak that maybe you could have made, right?
Well, and that's true story. I remember paying out, it was a $25,000 coaching program for the year. And it was building out this specific thing. And the coaches didn't review you. You had to go to buddies. And I'm going, why am I having people who've never done it before review my stuff? Like I kind
Exactly.
of had a bit of a disconnect there. And then it was one lady who was very seasoned say to me, none of your crap makes sense. I don't understand how this goes to here, goes to here. Like there's no alignment. Like, what are you doing, woman? And I'm like, thank you. Like everyone else was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I could hump your leg. Thank you. Like that was the piece I was looking for because it didn't feel right to me either, but I
Yeah.
was doing the steps that I was being assigned, but
Yeah.
nobody had like looked at it. And this woman took the time to do it, and we've become fast friends. Like we review each other's stuff all the time now because I can do that for her too, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
we're too close so we can't see the forest for the trees, so to speak. And
Exactly.
that's really what it's about is put your stuff in, let's take a look. And a lot of times I'm going, okay, you've started this, I need you to go back here to this research, review that document before you do anything. This is your lens right here that we've built together. This doesn't make sense, we need to tweak it this way, this way, this way. And so these women are creating like phenomenal systems. I had one lady during COVID, everything was being shut down. We added $120,000 of net profit to her bottom
Wow.
line from the year before, where there was no COVID, by the new system. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. What does
Yeah.
$120,000 in your jeans give you? What does that get? That gives you a lot.
Yeah.
That's like someone's whole, a higher end person's salary. You get a
Mm-hmm.
whole other person's salary in your jeans
Yeah.
by cleaning it up and just having someone hold your hand and say, here, let's go do this together. Like, and I always say, like, we are launching in 3 weeks because now I'm part of
It's
you, right?
true, right? Because it's great to have, not everybody wants someone holding their hand, but in a way they do.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that you have someone that you can lean on if you're not sure and to support you. So that's awesome, Tracy. I
Yeah.
love it. Love it. So can you tell me what prompted you to be a contributor in this giveaway?
Really, it's anytime I can help women get a little bit more confident, really I call it get your head in the game, right? Because women have a different mindset, as we all know, than men. So we do business very differently. We do business
Mhm.
very emotionally. It has to come from our heart, it has to come from our soul, or we're not motivated.
True.
And so, because we're used to multitasking, and if you're a female entrepreneur with kids, like you are running a house, you are running their, soccer games, volleyball games, everything else, you're running a company. If you have a team, you're running. So you carry this emotional stress on your shoulders always that people don't normally see. That as the entrepreneur, we kind of have to suck it up.
Mhm.
So whenever I can make that mindset stronger, that focus stronger, so that it becomes easier and we have more time freedom, then we're cooking with fire. And the more of us that are out there doing it, the more of us that are there to help the next level come up.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
true. So true. No, and it's great. I mean, it's not I think a lot of times we're so inclined to look at other people in our space, in our industry, as competition instead of support.
Mhm.
And like you mentioned earlier when we chatted before we came on, there's lots to go around. It's not like, there's just this small clump and we have 1,000 people coming after it. It's not, and the
Mhm.
more we're open to it, the more we'll find, right?
There's billions of people in the world. I'm pretty sure
Excuse
we can
me.
all make a living. And how I coach and do business is going to be very different than the way you do it, even if we're offering the same thing. And we used to see that a lot I used to own a large health and wellness clinic for 10 years. We ran that. And there would be therapists there. I still did private clients that would do the same thing I did. And people would go, I don't want to book with Trace. She's too blunt. I need someone a little more motherly, or someone who's like, that person is too, ooh, 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 like, give me Tracy. I
Yeah.
need the kick in the butt. So it was great. Everybody had their own flavor, even though we were all under the same umbrella.
Exactly. And I mean, that's one thing. We always bring ourselves to the table, and there's no one else can do that. Like I said, even if it's basically the same structure or the same industry or whatever, you're bringing yourself to the table, and no one else can replicate that. So it's all right. It's all good.
It is all good.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the gift that you've contributed to the bundle.
I would love to. So, what I've contributed to the bundle is a mini class on how to double your income in 2021. And what it is it's really focusing on how to choose your word of the year and then use it as your focal point or your lens to look through with everything that you do. And don't let the simplicity fool you. Everybody's like, oh, that's nothing, or oh, yeah, I do yearly themes or whatever. But if you do them well, it will be a game changer. So, for example, one of my years, my focus year of the word of the year was focus. So, everything that came my way, I would ask questions like, if I do this, does it align with my focus of the year? If I do this, is it focusing on this particular client that I'm looking to impact? If I do this, is it focusing on, my wealth building? Is it focusing on this? Is it focusing on that? So anything that was kind of, I call it the spaghetti effect, where it's like every little bump and hiccup that comes your way, you jump in and do. I would do it through that lens to ensure that I stayed focused. And by doing that, I went from $10,000 a month net profit up to 25
Wow.
in 1 year. So that's an extra 15,000 each month times 12. That's some nice money. I bought us
Oh
a
yeah.
fabulous ski condo out in the mountains with that money, right? But it was because my word of the year was focus, because I had way too many programs. Why? Because I love building programs. I had way too many programs. I had way too many service offerings. And a lot of the service offerings, even though they made a little bit of money, it wasn't easy money, and it attracted people that drained me versus excited me.
Mm.
So it was just like big concrete shoes. So I've had words of the year where it's been dominate. I've had words of the year where it's been lead generation. I've had words of the year where it's unstoppable. So if I do this thing with Glenda, will it keep me unstoppable? And then I would feel the yes or no in my body. And if it was a no, then I decline.
Makes sense.
Right? So that it helps us with our no's, it helps us with our boundaries, and it helps us just this is what me and the business are doing this year. This year we're unstoppable. This year we are this. And it allows us to be braver and more confident in a lot of our choices that we're taking.
Mhm. Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And like you said, I and even as you were talking about it, I could see how it was narrowing in the focus. And um, you know, being able to say no is very important, not only in our business, but in our personal life. And if something we're doing isn't in line with our goals or what's important to us, like deep down, well, why are we doing it? You know, it's what you're taking away from something that could be bigger, right? So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And it's where people get confused where they say focus on your money makers first. But if you don't know what your moneymaker is, if you don't have enough focus in your business, it's very hard to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. And that's usually what I've found in the past is that people don't know who they're serving and how, and they also don't know how they're showing up in business.
Yeah.
So when we work and we embrace all of that and we really get to know who we are, what we're really good at, what we love doing, the no's become really easy. Like, I had a men's magazine ask me to do a article for them, and I'm like, I don't work with men. I love dating them and marrying them, but I don't work with men. So
Yeah.
it's best to give that opportunity to someone who specializes. Well, no, 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 my wife
Mhm.
loves you. I go, well, does your wife have a magazine? I'll do the article there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right. So
exactly.
it's very easy then to just say that no. And then that keeps, that word of the year of focus is if I go do this men's magazine and people come through because my stuff is amazing, that's a mindset thing again, then I've got to go create over here, whereas my focus should be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like I said earlier, before we got on camera about, I love talking about Orville Redenbacher. He's made his millions selling popcorn kernels. That was it. It wasn't 50 different offerings. So a word of the year in a signature program, you're going to make money hand over fist. You're going to have free time. You're going to be done work at your normal time without still trying to do work and exhausted and no juice for your loved ones. Instead, it's like my alarm goes off at 4 o'clock and I just turn off my computer and leave the room. We're
Sweet.
just done.
You know what, that makes sense. Like, I mean, there's so many awesome things about that because we can't, or I'm not going to say can't, but a lot of people try to serve everybody because they're afraid that they're going to miss out on something or income or whatever. But when you're trying to serve everybody everything, then you're spreading yourself so thin that you can't really serve anybody to the best of your ability.
Yeah, you're not mastered and you're not specialized.
Yeah.
And I used to explain this to the therapists that used to work for me. I'm like, if your first client has cancer and your second client has diabetes and your third client is struggling with fertility and your fourth client has IBS, are you really the best person to serve all of them? Versus someone who
Exactly.
just does IBS and someone who just does cancer, because they spend all their extra time researching and reading and doing, right? People
Yeah.
aren't Googling Reiki, they're Googling IBS, they're Googling cancer. And that's what, when we stay focused, that's the magic you start to create. I used to specialize for years in undiagnosed infertility, and I ate and breathed that every moment of every day. Like our success rate was 76%. Like if you had undiagnosed infertility and you did the work that I gave you, you were having a baby. And then I'm like, a lot of those women that weren't getting pregnant is because they were struggling in their businesses. And I'm like, oh, if I fix that, then you never have to worry about fertility. So I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to do this. And so that's how all of that started. But it was always about the focus and designing what your energy of the year was going to be, and then sticking to it and using it to your advantage. And that's what the training is about.
Well, that sounds amazing, Tracy. It really does. So, on that note, I suppose I should say thank you for taking time to be here with us today and sharing a little bit about you and your awesome business and your awesome contribution to the Essentials of Financial Wellness giveaway. And it's all greatly appreciated. It
Thank you
really
so
is.
much for having me. I hope everybody gets something out of any of the gifts that are being given out. There is such good stuff in this package.
Yes, there is. And you know what? The way I'm looking at it is if someone takes something away and makes, even if it's just the littlest change, the positive, in the positive direction, boom, it's a hit. Because any change that's positive, big or small, is a change nonetheless, right?
True story.
So, well, ladies, if you're ready to step up, take control of your finances, and take care of yourself at the same time, like I said, this could be life changing. And we want to help you get started. So, grab your free gifts and let us support you on your journey. The link is in the description. You can claim as many gifts as you want because they're there for the taking. But the giveaway does end on Friday, May 28th at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So on that note, we are out of here. So you have yourself a totally fantabulous day, and always, always, always let your awesomeness shine. Bye.
See you.